thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, no
really
problem.
Appreciate that. So how did you first hear about me?
I heard about you through a referral through my kid's school. There was a teacher that noticed I was walking funny and actually asked if I had MS. And that kind of threw a little bit of a scare into me. And I said, yeah, well, maybe I should go see what it's all about. And she referred you and said that you'd done wonders for her and her family. And so that's what brought me in.
Okay, so that was Lori now. That rings a bell for me. I remember that story. Yeah, it must have been a little bit surprising to people's impression of you as you have MS and you can't walk.
Yeah. And I've always had people say, you know, oh, you're limping today or this or that, like forever, right? And I just thought that's just how I walked and that's how it was. And even in bodybuilding and fitness shows and stuff, I would walk out on stage and people were like, oh, you're limping, but I just never ever kind of gave it any thought.
Right. So was that the main problem that brought you in, was the limping, or were there some other issues?
No, that was kind of which I found out after talking with you was one of the major contributors, but I had a football injury in high school that had damaged my lower back, and I had to sleep on a board with my feet underneath raised up and under my knees and stuff for probably 3 or 4 months. And so that was the initial, when I got hit from behind in football, and that was the injury. And then just through the years I thought it had healed up, and it would kind of go in and out bothering me, and I had originally gone to a chiropractor for years, and it definitely made it better. There's no question. I couldn't even bend over to pick my kids up at one point in time, and so it made it better. But it kept coming back. I would go in and go to the chiropractor, and I'd feel great for a couple of days, and then I'd be kind of right back to where I was. And it slowly got better and better, but it still was always there. I could, if I was bending over to grab something off a bottom shelf in a grocery store, and I would feel something tweak, and I'd be like, all right, here we go, 3 or 4 days, I'm gonna have a sore back now, right? You know, but
that was the pattern, wasn't it? You do a little bit of tweak it or something like that, and then you have 3 or 4 days of struggle.
Yeah, like extreme struggle, like not being able to even put my socks on. I'd have to sit on my steps in my house to put my socks on. And then after, it eventually would wear down, and it would never go away completely, but I thought that's just how things were supposed to be. That's how you're built. You know, you hurt your back, deal with it, suck it up, and keep going, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there who get into trouble and they just think, this is it. You know, it's nothing major or whatever, or this happens and it's normal, and I just have to live with it. But so how are things better now? Like, we've adjusted you and you've been under care for a few months.
Yeah, great actually. And I mean, I didn't think that it was possible to go to a chiropractor and not have to be contorted and twisted around and hear pops and, you know, and everything else. I thought that's what it was all about, because I've been to 2 different chiropractors before, and that's what it was, right? I mean, and they did a good job as far as, I mean, I'm no doctor, so I don't, and it helped, right? It made it better, but yeah, coming here definitely, it's more, I'm a lot more conscious of my balance in my body and how I'm standing and what the weight shift in my body is, because you made me aware of that with, you know, your pelvis is out by this many degrees, and that's causing this and causing this. So it just helps me even make better decisions, where just habits that I've gone into over the last, say, 15, 20 years of always slouching into one side or the other. When I catch myself doing that now, it's like, no, I want to make sure that I keep things straight, and so I try to balance out a lot more. And I think that's helped as well, just the awareness of what was wrong, instead of just coming in, people just do something to you and you leave and say it's better, right?
Now, not too long ago, you had tweaked your back, and you were expecting several days of recovery, or 4 days of recovery, and you came in the one day and we adjusted you. And then I think I wanted to see you within a day or 2 afterward to check how you were doing, and you came back and you were pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at how fast you recovered that time?
Absolutely. Yeah. Right? I mean, no question, because usually, and that was I remember it was when deadlifts in the gym.
That's right.
When I was doing that, a little, you know, too much too soon kind of thing on what, you know, where that, you know, from coming back. But yeah, usually if that happened, I would be for weeks, like two weeks or more of having it there. And obviously the first few days would be worse, but it wouldn't be gone or better for at least a few weeks. But it was like a day and a half, and I felt great.
Good. Now, were you also surprised that because it was really the low back that was injured, that the adjustment took place in the neck, and it had that fast of a response into the lower back?
I'm still surprised. I mean, I you know, and I mean, it makes sense, right? And after after you put the logic, sense, and it's explained to you, right? But I mean, I think a general person who doesn't have a medical background or knowledge of the body, whether it's through training or whatever, you think, if your foot hurts, you think something's wrong with your foot, right? And so I think that's generally where that idea goes to. But yeah, absolutely. Coming in and just getting, an adjustment to the neck that takes like 3 minutes or less, and what that does, and what I've been through in the past with chiropractors is unbelievable, the difference.
And this adjustment, of course, too, doesn't involve any manipulation, like...
No, you just lay there. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's great. So I mean, if someone was in, if your back is in pain, for example, and sometimes going to the chiropractor before, it would be uncomfortable for a couple minutes. Like, okay, here, chew on this piece of wood for a second. We just got to get this done to get you better, right? But it's not like that at all. I mean, your back doesn't get twisted, moved, contorted at all. You just
it's actually not a bad experience, is it?
Not at all.
No,
yeah, lay there and let the magic happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for fixing me up.
Well, you're welcome.